We're here with Nicole Gratton. She is running for the Clerk of Superior Court in Troup County. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm excited to share more of who I am and my views with the public.
Well, great. Well, I would like you to do that. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I sure can. I'm 52 years old. I've always been a resident in Troup County. I love the county. My parents grew up here. My father worked in the Dixie Mill area. Then he started working at convenience stores. He loved people. My mom was a nurse. She got her nursing degree when I was young and retired from nursing at West Georgia Medical Center. I have a sister, Lisa Bailey, who is a designer, and my brother Bill Bailey has worked for Lowe's his whole life. And so I grew up here. Now I have children, and my children are back here in LaGrange. My daughter is at M Group, and my other daughter is at Long and Long. She's an administrative assistant. And I got married 13 years ago to Jay Gratton, and he is an amazing guy, biggest supporter. He's been a lineman, retired after 40 years. So I gained two boys with him. So we're a blended family, but they're all adults, and I have two boys in the Florida area. So that's me. I've worked in law for 20 years. I went back when my first daughter was born. I went back to school and got my diploma in information and office technology at West Georgia Tech at the time, and I got a job working just in corporate, and I didn't enjoy it. And shortly after, I went to work at a law firm, and I absolutely fell in love with law. So I then got my paralegal certificate, and I've been working in law up until about 3 years ago. I went to work in the state court being a victim advocate. So that's
Great.
my life story up till now.
No, that's great. So what is something in your life that has led you to want to run for the Clerk of Superior Court?
I have always loved people. That was part of being in law, not just the law side of it, but how it affects people and being able to see justice play out. I did tons of divorce work and was able to walk people through that experience. To me, it was kind of like a ministry because people were at their lowest. And I had the opportunity to help speak life back into what was going on. And then working in the victim advocate area, same thing. It was just in a criminal realm, working with the victims. And being in the court system and seeing how things work, I heard that our present clerk was going to retire, and I started looking into it and being able to serve people in that whole realm that come into the court that may not know what's going on, that need direction. That just felt like a logical move. And the more I looked into it and the more I explored all that was involved with the clerk of court, it really intrigued me because while I am very much a people person, I love technology. I love keeping track of things. I love making things work succinctly together. So it was just a logical move.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the responsibilities of the Clerk of Superior Court entails for those that don't know? And go ahead and do that. And then I want you to tell us how your background and experience lends you to be able to make an effective impact in that position.
Okay, well, not being in the office, I can't tell you absolutely everything. And what I am stating is, of course, my understanding. I want to preface that.
Right.
But in short, the clerk of court is responsible for the integrity of all the court documents, all of the any legal document that is filed within the court. Now, that may entail all of our deeds and records for like when you close a house or any kind of quitclaim deed, things like that. Those all are maintained by our clerk of court.
Okay.
In addition, we have state and superior, which fall under the clerk position that I'm running for. And those two courts each have a state and civil court. So any documents, any rulings, anything filed within those are also maintained by the clerk. And it's the responsibility to keep all of those records so that they can be found later. You know, a lot of times if, per se, a divorce, you know, you go to modify something, you've got to be able to get certified copies. You've got to know what happened in that original case to be able to go back to it. In a criminal case, all of the documents, the accusations, any indictments, if you're felony, all those go through the court system. And so all of the court, including the disposition, which leads back to somebody's criminal record. So all of that has to be filed and maintained and sent so that everything is correct. So it's a lot of staying on top of things. In addition, there's traffic court that goes through there. You also have, as a part of the clerk of court, where you have to maintain all the funds, very similar to if you're familiar with an escrow, which but an escrow account, you have to, it's a flow through, there's never a profit. So the clerk of court is responsible for maintaining that account. That could be restitution funds, the filings for the clerks, any traffic. So all of those funds are flowing through escrow accounts, and you have to get all of those out to the appropriate agencies and people. So there is also a huge financial aspect to the clerk of court that I don't think people are aware of. And then there's other smaller entities, but that's the big part. Where I feel like my background and my experience could come into play, obviously loving people and wanting to serve the people well, I think that would be the motivating factor, what drives my heart, my passion of it. But also being a paralegal and having worked with the court system, you know, when you're going up there and filing stuff and you're trying to get in touch with the court, all of that, you get a different perspective than sitting in the clerk's office and somebody training you on how to do this. It becomes very apparent what jihaws and what doesn't in being that person going back and forth. And then as I worked in the state court, again, working and dealing with the office, not to say anything's off or anything, just working and bringing that perspective. I think there's a lot of insight that you can bring into the office. I have come to believe it's very important for that office to be working alongside of some of the attorneys to make sure that we are constantly keeping in mind what is working and what isn't. I mean, there's guidelines, there's some things you have to do, but how do you do them so that they work the most effectively for everybody involved? And I think that's true as you go into felony, state court, all of those, that you need to be working alongside of one another to make sure that it's working as efficiently as possible.
Well, and I know I have to go or send someone to look for deeds frequently, and I've never not found what I needed to find. So there must be great processes and procedures in place, and has to be great oversight in order to keep everything flowing correctly.
Correct, it does.
So thank you for explaining more. I didn't realize everything that went into that. What do you think is the biggest challenge that faces the clerk of court's responsibilities? What do you think is the biggest challenge that you're going to be facing potentially?
I think one of the biggest challenges that I would be facing if I went into office is the change. One of the things that I have gotten feedback on personally is the customer service aspect. I plan on day one taking away the answering system that is currently in place and having live people answer the telephone. I believe that, you know, most people who call into the clerk's office, general public, don't know who they need, what they need, and I know that there is stuff there that you can press 1, 2. Most people don't know. And so then they leave a message. Well, they'll call back and leave another message on another one, call back and leave another message on another one. So I think to some degree it it causes the call volume to go up. So I think having a person, even if that person isn't, having a live person answer the phone, even if where you send them, they leave a message, there is some sort of calm in that person of, okay, I left the message for the right person. I don't know how that's going to be perceived by some people, but for me, I think that's a challenge in setting that into place.
So you mean maybe internally of feeling like there's additional responsibilities in
Correct. And
more direct customer
balance out some of that change that may happen because we are now having to focus more time in customer service, dealing with the customers, that kind of aspect. I think the public will love it. But I do think that will create some change in the flow of the office. Yes, definitely.
Do you think there will be a cost associated with that you'll need to review budget or an additional hire potentially?
I don't know 100%. I don't see it being a new position. I see it being again, kind of looking at what everyone does and how do we make it so that the phone system is, not the phone system, but answering the phone is covered by a person or a couple of people. But I don't know that it necessarily creates a whole new position.
Okay.
But I'm not opposed to it being a new position. And again, it may be juggling some of the ones that we have. I don't know unless I get in there and kind of understand what each person is doing. My understanding is that we currently have 14 people, plus the clerk in the office. So
it may be a shared responsibility to make sure there's better customer service.
right, exactly. There may be one person or two people that juggle answering the phone, but then there's backup people. Ideally, we all know kind of what's going on. And so you do kind of know where the phone calls go. Just working in the state court as I do, I've learned so much about what area does what just by listening. So I can only assume that is the same down there.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Well, I would like for you to take a couple minutes and tell the public why they should vote for you.
Well, first off, I really want to serve Troup County. I really want to make a difference in how things go, and I want people to feel valued. I want our court system to become up to date. There's a lot of things that have moved along with the times, but there's other parts that aren't. I really want to get in there and work on the technology part and bring us up to date. But at the same time, I want to take the customer service part and take us backwards. I want to make us about the people. I know our job is to maintain court documents, but those are people. We deal with people. We are public servants. And to me, making that important and updating the technology, we're just shifting time. We're shifting the time that we work over here with documents, streamlining it and making people important. And I love people. I care about people, and I love our county. I want us to be proud of everything that's done here, and I want to be a part of that.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for spending time with us today, and I look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.